The bell on Mr. Parker Pyne's desk rang softly, signaling the start of what he would later call his most interesting case. "Yes, Miss Lemon?" Parker Pyne asked, peering over his glasses. "A young lady wants to see you, sir," his efficient secretary replied. "No appointments. Send her in." A moment later, a woman in her 20s entered his office. She was immaculately dressed, from her white wool cap to her fishnet stockings. Yet there was a nervousness in her every movement. "Are you Mr. Parker Pyne?" she asked hesitantly. He responded with the practiced warmth of a man accustomed to secrets and sorrow. Her hands shook as she clutched her handbag. "You're the one who advertises," she began, "that if people are unhappy, they should come to you?" "Yes," he said, leaning forward slightly. "How can I help you?" For a moment it seemed as if she were about to flee, her wide eyes darting around the room. Then, as if the words were struggling to come out, she said hastily, "I'm in terrible trouble. It's terrible, and I don't know what to do." Parker Pyne's sharp eyes flashed. He motioned for her to continue. "My name is Daphne St. John," she began, her voice trembling. "Or rather, Mrs. Gerald St. John. It's my husband, Gerald, he doesn't know. You see, I've done something terrible." "What kind of horror?" Parker Pyne asked softly, already sensing that the case would test his wits. The answer came in the form of a glittering object thrown onto his desk. A stunning single diamond platinum ring spun for a moment before coming to a stop. Parker Pyne picked it up and examined it under the light. "Beautiful," he murmured. "Easily worth £2,000. But what's the matter?" "I stole it," Daphne confessed, her voice choking. "I stole it, and now I don't know how to fix it." The seasoned problem solver set the ring down carefully. "Tell me everything," he urged, "and leave nothing out." Daphne explained her predicament with increasing agitation. A woman who described herself as hopelessly extravagant, she owed her a debt to her austere husband, Gerald, who would never forgive her. On a recent trip to France, she tried to recoup her losses at the casino, only to dig herself deeper into the hole. Her moment of despair came while staying with her wealthy friends, Sir Reuben and Lady Naomi Dearborn. While visiting their estate, Naomi had asked Daphne to take her diamond ring to a jeweler in London for repairs. Instead, Daphne had a jeweler on Bond Street copy the ring, send the fake back to Lady Naomi, and pawn the original. "I paid off my debts," Daphne admitted, her voice breaking. "But I couldn't bear the guilt. Then an old cousin died and left me some money. I redeemed the ring, but now..." "Now," Parker Pyne interrupted, "you must return the real ring to Lady Dearborn without arousing suspicion." "Yes," Daphne cried, leaning forward in despair. "But that's impossible. Gerald had a fight with Sir Reuben over some failed investments. I can't even step foot in their house, let alone give the ring to Naomi." Parker Pyne nodded thoughtfully. "A delicate situation. But not impossible." The grieving woman's story took a turn when she revealed another complication. Naomi, she learned, was planning to redesign the diamond into a more fashionable design, possibly within days. Time was running out. That afternoon, Parker Pyne summoned two of his most talented agents, Claude Luttrell, a devilishly handsome scoundrel, and Melina Desera, a charming actress with a flair for acting. "My children," Pyne began with a mischievous smile, "you are about to be the talk of London society, for one night only. The Dearborns are throwing a grand ball, and you will be their entertainment." "Dancers?" Claude asked, raising an eyebrow. "Exactly," Pyne confirmed. "Lady Dearborn has found a replacement for a cancelled performance. You will take over. While the lights are dimmed and the music is stirring, you will ensure that this ring," he holds up the diamond, "finds its way back to her finger. Understand?" With meticulous precision, Parker Pyne has choreographed every detail of the operation. Melina will distract the household staff while Claude makes the transition. Timing is of the essence, he stresses. The Dearborn's grand ballroom is awash with opulence, its glittering chandeliers casting a golden glow over London's elite. Claude and Melina, introduced as Jules and Sonia, take the stage, presenting a mesmerizing blend of Spanish opera and modern decadence. As the performance ended, Claude reached out to Lady Naomi Dearborn, coaxing her onto the dance floor. "You're light as air," he whispered, his eyes never leaving her. Naomi blushed, mesmerized by the mysterious dancer. The moment of truth came during a cleverly staged blackout. As the lights flickered out, Claude leaned in, whispering a romantic line in fake Russian. In the darkness, his fingers deftly removed the fake ring from Naomi's hand and replaced it with the real diamond. When the lights returned, Claude held Naomi's hand high, the diamond catching the light. "Your ring," he said with a carefree smile. It almost slipped off. The next morning, Daphne burst into Parker Pyne's office. "Did it work?" she asked, her face pale from lack of sleep. Parker Pyne leaned back in his chair, his expression serene. "The operation," he said, "was a great success. Lady Dearborn's diamond is right where it belongs." Daphne breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you, Mr. Pyne." "Really, Pyne interrupted, "Let me tell you a little story. About another young lady, a secretary named Ernestine Richards." Daphne stiffened, relief giving way to fear. This young woman, too, stole a diamond ring, intending to make a profit from it. She also concocted an ingenious story to cover herself when her crime was discovered. But there is one key difference between Ernestine Richards and you: I am not so easily fooled. Parker Pyne produced the fake diamond and laid it on the desk. "Here," he said, "is the replica you gave me. The real ring has never left Lady Dearborn's hand, thanks to Claude. Your story is an elaborate fabrication, Mrs. St. John." Daphne's face blanched. "You know?" "I suspect so," Pyne admitted. "Your affliction is a little overdramatic. But more importantly, Lady Dearborn herself never mentioned lending her ring to a Daphne St. John. Your deception will eventually be exposed." Daphne sprang to her feet, looking both angry and humiliated. "You old crook," she spat. "You're making me pay for this whole farce." "Indeed," Pyne replied coldly. "Let that be a lesson. In 87% of cases, dishonesty is not rewarded. Goodbye, Miss Richards." As she walked away, Parker Pyne leaned back in his chair, a satisfied smile on his lips. The diamond sparkled innocently on his desk, a silent witness to another case solved with precision, finesse, and a touch of theatricality. As Daphne Richards, alias Mrs. St. John, walked out of Parker Pyne's office, the crowded London streets outside seemed to mock their indifference. She clutched her coat, her mind racing. Her plan had been perfect, or so she thought. Yet Parker Pyne had deciphered it with startling precision. Inside the office, Parker Pyne watched the scene from the window. A small crowd had gathered as Daphne's angry departure drew attention. He sighed, a flicker of regret crossing his face. Despite her blatant lies, he recognized her desperation, a young woman incapable, driven by circumstances she could no longer control. Returning to his desk, he picked up the fake diamond ring. "A beautiful illusion," he muttered. It was, after all, an apt metaphor for the case itself, a shiny facade hiding the truth. Outside, the crowd dispersed, and Parker Pyne smiled faintly. Another case closed, another lesson learned.